Hello everybody and welcome to another amazing video of DIY investing. In the last update, we talked about why I believe that the market was topped and why Bitcoin and the rest of the cryptos are going to be seeing downside over the next month or two. In today's video, we're going to be touching up on some more of that analysis. I'm going to be breaking down Bitcoin and Ethereum, explaining exactly the direction that I think the market is going to be taking in this next month. And then we're also going to be sharing with you guys three of our top cryptos that I know many of you guys that watch this channel hold. It's three of my biggest positions inside of this next cycle. I'm going to be breaking down exactly what their market structure is telling us so that we can stay best prepared and the most profitable for when this volatility kicks in. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And with that being said, let's jump right into this amazing video today. Alrighty guys, so here we are to start off today's video. I think most of you guys said that you liked the smaller camera, so that's what we're going to be running with. So for today's video, we're going to be touching up a little bit more with what we talked about in yesterday's update, but then we're also going to be giving you guys a lot of different updates around markets that I didn't cover. Now, when we're getting in here to the shorter time frames, we can see that we did have a little bit of a bounce, but Bitcoin instantly rejected, and we are seeing further continuation. Now, for me, if this thing is going to bounce, it's most likely going to be happening somewhere at the low end of this range. And that's kind of what I'm going to be watching for. Maybe we make a quick flush and then we get some type of a bounce. And I really won't be surprised to see that happen. But the problem is, and the problem always has been, the fact that every time we hit this level, we're unable to break above and we fall back down to the downside. So as long as we're below this, I'm bearish. If we're actually able to hold support above basically 28.6 approximately, then at that point we can talk about the potential of one more final blow off top. Now, the problem with that, guys, is the fact when I look at the market, as much as I want this to be bullish, you guys know I love being bullish. We make way more money being bullish than we ever do being bearish, and so I'm all there with you guys. As much as I want the market to go up, the market looks like crap right now. And so in the short term, that's literally what we have to see for us to see continuation. Now, with us coming closer and closer towards this support range, don't be surprised if we do see a bounce, but understand that as long as that bounce is below this resistance up here, and as long as we continue to stay below this resistance, then at that point, this is most likely going to result to further continuation to the downside, resulting in a larger drop. Now for Bitcoin, that equals 25K. That's the most likely area, or it's just the most easy to identify area on the chart. This was the August high, and this was also some resistance that we held here in February. But whereas altcoins were unable to break out of their August high, Bitcoin did break out. So we're going to be watching to see how Bitcoin reacts to a retest above that range, because in my opinion, if Bitcoin pulls back to the 25K range, it's most likely going to bounce. It's probably going to hold support, and then that's probably where we're going to start that next leg up. Now, the problem here is when we come over and look at, Ethereum. Ethereum is basically the staple of the altcoins. And when we're looking at Ethereum, if we draw a line right at the top of our August high, we can see the ETH barely peaked above and then instantly rejected, and we made a lower high below that, and now we've rejected once again. So ETH looks like complete garbage to me. And when I'm looking at Ethereum, to me the Elliott waves are very easy to identify, and it looks even better than Bitcoin. We have a very obvious 1 wave, very obvious 3 with an expanded wave 4 correction. And then we see this final wave 5. And wave 5 happens, and the very peak of this wave 5 ends up just barely peaking above the August high, and then that ends up being deviation. And our lower high and the beginning of our ABC correction, A, B, and C, right? And that's where we're at. I believe that we're getting ready for that wave C decline. And when we're looking at this, the best way to target where we would want to be buying back in, or let's say that you want to be looking at where a good time to buy into altcoins would be, not just Ethereum. Ethereum is the staple, so wherever Ethereum bottoms, generally the rest of the market's going to be bottoming as well when it comes to the altcoins. And really, they all follow Bitcoin, obviously. Now, if we're looking at Ethereum, the 618 is going to be $1,500, and that's where I believe we're going to be headed in the short term. That's most likely where Wave C is going to take us, and don't be surprised if we came all the way back down and even bottomed at the very low end of this Wave 4 correction that we saw at the beginning of this run up. That could definitely happen. We could see a deep decline below the 618, maybe even down to the 786, because here's the thing, guys, when we're looking at the price of Ethereum, what we've seen up to this point, this was literally just a one wave. We finished our first Elliott wave impulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? So after every 5-wave impulse, we always end up seeing a correction to the downside. And as a rule of thumb, just based off of general Elliott wave theory, it's an ABC decline. And what that C wave does, really, it generally bottoms right here in between wave 4, right? And so sometimes it's at the bottom of wave 4, sometimes it's at the middle of wave 4, sometimes it's even at the top of wave 3. You know, they can bottom at different points, but with crypto being far more volatile than, you know, say the stock market, I'm looking for the 618 minimum, and I won't be surprised to see us go to the 786. This is an entire one-wave impulse, and so technically this thing can correct all the way up to 99% of wave 1, right? So this thing could literally come all the way back down and do something crazy like that. Do I think that that's the likely scenario? No, I do not, but it is a scenario that could happen, and we have to be wary of anything, because keep in mind, guys, that in the same way that this pretty much corrected the entirety of this first move, this was also a one wave, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. And then we saw an ABC correction. A, B, and C. So that just goes to show you how deep a wave 1 decline can, and that just goes to show you how deep a wave 2 decline can happen after our first impulse. So this first impulse here is a wave 1 of 1, and now we just finished, or what I should say, we're working on the completion of wave 1 of 3. So big picture, guys, this is going to be a huge bullish setup, and it already is, right? If we're looking at this from a big picture basis, this is wave 1 of 1. We're going to see we're working on wave 3 right now, right? And wave 3 will be something big, and we'll see this big, massive, impulsive cycle. Now, here's the thing, guys. This most recent impulse is just wave 1 of 3. Wave 3 of 3, and then wave 5 of 3. And then that'll complete wave 3. We'll have a wave 4 correction, and then we'll have a whole nother wave 5 impulse to come after that. And so I'm not saying that it's going to go to $4,400 or all-time highs. I'm not trying to map that out. I'm just trying to share with you guys how short of the impulses, or what I should say, how early the impulses are, and how we're literally at the very beginning of a new trend. The only thing is we have to have a wave 2 decline, and we're inside of that right now. This is an A. We just finished wave B, and now we're going to get wave C that's most likely going to come to the 618, potentially lower than that. And we talked a little bit about this little fractal in yesterday's video, and how, to me, it looks pretty much the same, and this is what I think is going to be taking place. The correction that we saw over here in January and February, how we broke out, cleared the range highs, came back, fell below the range highs as resistance once again, and then we came all the way back down, broke below the range low support, and then flushed and really just cleared the ranges on both sides. This is what is called an expanded flat correction, and that's basically where it looks like this. You clear the range highs, then you clear the range lows, right? And it's just a total mess up of anybody trying to leverage trade in between. That's an expanded flat correction. And this, to me, the current consolidation looks exactly the same. We cleared the range highs right here, and now where this was, how we sold back below this resistance level, and then we rejected here, and that's what resulted in this final sell-off. That's literally where we're at right here. We've sold back, we've came back under this range as resistance. It's closing below. Now we're seeing continuation of the downside. Once this support fails, which I believe it will, that's where we're going to see that final decline, which is going to be taking us to the 618. And so it's going to result into a very similar type of move. The only difference is I don't think that we're going to instantly do this out of the low. I think that most likely this one will take a little bit more time worth of consolidation before we start going up. I don't know exactly what the heck the price is going to look. I never know that. I don't try and predict what the price is going to look like. But what I'm telling you guys is up to this point, we have finished a very obvious 1, 3, and 5 wave impulse. It's the first true impulse to begin the cycle. We are now beginning a decline. In this decline, because we're already up so high, you know, this is going to be the bulk of it where it really catches people off guard. You're going to see a lot of people that get liquidated, a lot of people caught with their pants down. And I just wanted to give you guys these updates so that we're aware, so that you guys are ultimately able to make your own decisions, protect your capital, do whatever it takes. Because as much as I want to be bullish, as much as I want to sit here and say, you know, new all-time highs, whatever it is, I just can't help but look at this chart and be bearish. And I'm not somebody that is blind to market direction. You know, I've made a lot of mistakes in the market. I screwed up heavily in the bear market. You guys obviously know. I don't try and hide from anything. That's why I'm a YouTuber. I post everything on YouTube for everybody to see. So in that regard, I'm always trying to learn. I'm always trying to better my own trading plan. I'm always trying to make more profit. I'm trying to learn and grow as an investor. And inside of my time, this is my 7th year in crypto, I feel like I've kind of got to the point where I'm much quicker to adapt to the trend changes. And to me, when I'm looking at this looks like we're going to see a big flush to the downside. And so whereas most people aren't going to be able to catch that, I'm willing to sit here. As much as I've been bullish the whole way up, as much as it angers people when I flip bias, I'm willing to do this because ultimately I want to see you guys make money. And so if I'm wrong, you know, that sucks. I'm willing to be wrong. But if I'm right on this and we end up seeing this big sell-off, you know, ultimately, had you have known that, or at least you were aware to it, maybe you guys were able to make some better decisions. You know, maybe you were over leveraged in a leveraged position and you're sitting here scratching your head wondering what you should do, if you should take the loss or if you should hold. And now I'm giving you the analysis that we might see a big sell-off. It's those type of people that these videos are for. I want to be able to help as many people that, you know, maybe are in uncomfortable trades that they don't know how to navigate, or they just don't know what the heck the direction of the market's going to take. Because the market direction for crypto moves quickly up or down. And now I believe that we're at the point where we're going to see a nasty move, to the downside. Now, guys, let's talk about the altcoins on today's video. My favorite altcoins, or should I say some of my favorite altcoins that I am actually holding for this next bull run. Now, right off the bat, the first one I want to talk to you guys about is Midas. And this is one that we talked about recently. And I'm still really, really bullish on this one. And to me, it still looks identical to the first Ethereum bear market. And I believe that we're having some sort of equivalency to that. Now, the difference here, guys, and I wanted to talk about this because, you know, what happens if Bitcoin sells off and makes this big drop and ETH comes all the way down to $1,500? Well, what the heck's going to happen to Midas? So I'm going to remove the charting tools. We're going to come down in here and we're going to take a look at what is taking place currently. Now, right off the bat, when I'm looking at Midas, this has a very obvious 5-wave impulse. We completed 5 waves up. Now the question comes in, what is the sell-off? And to me, we had this massive A wave, right? And the A wave actually came right down to the 618. And it came down to the 618 even lower than that just in the first sell-off. And so right off the bat, this one was overextended and we saw a lot of profit taking, which was indicated by such a massive wave A. Now, at first, I was thinking that this could be some type of quick ABC correction, or maybe it was an ABC and the C leg was just really short or something like that. But, you know, as time has developed, to me, this looks more like we just had an extended wave A. This was wave B, and now we're most likely going to get a C wave back down to about 20 bucks. And that's kind of what I think that the price of Midas is doing. And so while I did draw that this was going to hold support and start going up, at this point, now that the market is looking bearish, I think that this is probably going to end up seeing a final dip as well, probably to that $20 range. And so for Midas, I think that there's an opportunity to get in at a discount. If you're somebody that is at break even and you're worried about taking a loss and you want to, you know, get out and maybe buy back in, you know, potentially now wouldn't be the worst time in doing so. But I would say that in the short term with Bitcoin, as we're approaching this support level, I won't be surprised to see a bounce. And so there could be a better opportunity in the short term over this next week or so where we do see Bitcoin and the cryptos bounce a little bit, make another lower high, and that actually would be the better opportunity of trying to get out of positions, trying to restructure your trading plans, than it would be to try and panic right now. But at the same time, if we see a massive flush at support right here and break below it, then you obviously don't want to hold through that. And so when it comes to leverage positions, my thing is always cut your losses quick. You don't want to hold on to that, which is why you always have a stop loss anyways if you're leverage trading. But if you didn't have a stop loss and you're just kind of over leveraged in the position, you're better off taking the loss, you know, accepting the loss, learning from that, and then never repeating it. Then you are trying to hold on to it and trying to enforce that, because what you're going to end up doing is creating a bigger loss for yourself and having to learn the same mistake or what I should say, having to learn the same lesson, but the problem is you made a much bigger mistake in the process. So just cut everything quicker and don't be too, caught up in your own emotions, because it's those emotions that are going to get you stuck making massive losses. And so with Midas, even if we see a wave C, I still love the big picture of this trend. I still think that we're going to be rocketing upwards of about $80, I think, at the low end. At the middle end, $115, and then at the high end, even $170. And I think that will be happening sometime this year, even into mid next year. Obviously, 2025 is going to be the year where everything goes crazy, and I do confidently believe this one will be into new all-time highs. This is one of my dark horse candidates. I don't see a lot of people talking about it, but I do believe a lot of people will be talking about it once the market starts to pick up. Now, next up on today's list is going to be Arbitrum. Now, a lot of people have been asking me, am I still bullish on Arbitrum even though we had this big sell-off? And the answer is yes. And to me, Arbitrum looks a lot like this ape token. And that is actually the token that is associated with the Bored Ape NFT. So what we actually ended up seeing inside of this was very much the same consolidation, where we get added to exchanges, we make this kind of listing pump thing, and then we go through this sideways consolidation, and then we make one rally, and then we kind of sell back down. And to me, it looks a lot like where we did right here, where on ape token, we sold off, support became resistance, and then that's what kind of resulted to our final capitulation. And it looks a lot like what we're seeing today with Arbitrum. Arbitrum did just break below support. It is closing below as resistance. And, keep in mind, sometimes these little flushes below support like this can actually see a bounce. And so don't be caught off guard if we do see something like that. I'm not trying to trade this by any means, because we don't know exactly what's going to happen in the short term. But this could either be some type of a capitulation, or as long as it continues to hold below this previous support, now acting as resistance, then we're just going to expect to see continuation of the downside. That's the only way to play the market. If we reclaimed this level, that could be a potential long opportunity where we could see a bounce back up to this level, being about $1.40 to $1.50. But that's kind of what I'm watching for in the short term. What this reminds me a lot of is ape. And, even though I think that it's at a completely different point, whereas ape's gone sideways for a year, basically, I still think that this is a common pattern that happens to coins that first get added to exchanges. And so it'll be interesting to see exactly what happens. For me, I got all of mine in the airdrop. I haven't bought any more on the market. I never planned to buy any. And that's why I always told you guys, you're better off getting into the airdrop now, because you're better off just having access to that and holding and getting everything for free than you are trying to buy it on the market, not knowing what the heck the market price is going to do. So I got everything in the airdrop, and I just plan to hold everything that I have. And so that's all I'm doing. I'm not really changing anything from that point. I'm just going to hold no matter what happens in the short term, no matter what happens in the long term. I think the price of ARB will do very well long term. And so I have no problem holding for the volatility. But at the same time, you guys got to keep in mind, I have no problem holding through volatility because I got tokens for free. So if you bought Arbitrum and you're super worried about it, obviously you're going to have something different in mind. And if we do see Bitcoin and the rest of the markets correct in a big way, most likely this is going to see one more final sort of capitulation. But the question is, will it break below the low end of where this wick was? Probably not. I don't think that we'll make a new low below that point. But we never really know with the airdrop tokens. So many people got them for free. You never know who the heck's going to need money, who's going to end up selling them. And with that being said, it can kind of add a lot of sell pressure on the open market. So I would just be a little bit more cautious with Arbitrum moving forward. I'm going to hold mine from here. Now, next up and last up on the list today is going to be GMX. Now, what is happening with GMX? Well, we obviously talked with the rest of the market. GMX was unable to actually break out of this consolidation. Kind of looked like an ascending triangle type of thing. And now the question is, where do we go from here? Well, when I'm looking at GMX, I don't know exactly where the wave count is. And, that's going to kind of come in with my own immaturity inside of Elliott waves. I'm not an Elliott wave expert. I just understand the basics of them. And when it comes to me watching GMX, I could see this being a completed impulse right here. And if that is the case, I'm just going to draw the 618 because that's a very likely area where we oftentimes end up tagging. And the 618 is going to be taking us all the way back down to basically $40 and $41. So if we do see a big drop in Bitcoin, Don't be surprised to see GMX come all the way back down, even closing back below those previous all-time highs that we were consolidating on for so long. You know, I don't think it changes anything. I don't think that GMX is any less, I don't think that GMX is bearish big picture because of that. I just think that we're due a bigger type of correction inside of the market. And so for me, if there's a big buy opportunity out there, if there's a more obvious buy opportunity, GMX earns some of the most profit based off of their market cap, based off of all of the other protocols in the market as a whole, specifically in DeFi too. They earn so much more and generate so much more profit because of their fee mechanism that works in their exchange. And so they're making profit. They're very obviously making profit. We can see everything on the blockchain. It's verifiable. And they're actually making significantly more profit than many cryptos that are way bigger than them. And I believe that that is going to come into an effect at some point. So if there's a crypto to be buying on a dip that already has proven it's profitable, already proven it works, and there's already a lot of hype around Arbitrum as a whole, I really think GMX is one of the safest picks that you can have in Arbitrum. You know, if you're looking for an altcoin, the safest altcoin you could probably buy would be Ethereum because it's, you know, the safest altcoin. It's the biggest altcoin. It's the staple of them, right? And so that's kind of when I'm thinking of Arbitrum. What is the staple of Arbitrum? Well, right now it's GMX. So if you're looking for the safest pick on Arbitrum, this is always my go-to. I'm staking for the long term. I'm compounding in the long term. I'm just holding everything that I have in my GMX, just continuing to add more because I really do strongly believe in this. And so if we were able to come all the way back down to the 618, I was buying GMX around this time. So I would be more than thrilled to be having the opportunity to get back in down here. Am I going to be selling any right up here in the hopes of buying the 618? No, I am just going to be buying if I plan to do so. I've already bought so much, and that was why I was making all the videos throughout this entire period of time, right before this rally, after this decline, and then ever since then. I made a lot of different updates. So I've basically accumulated everything that I wanted to. Maybe if we see the 618, I might get greedy and want to buy some more because that's just an amazing discount. I probably would do that, but that's really the only way I'm personally buying more, is if we do hit the 618. I think it's a likely scenario based off the way the market structure looks. I don't think it changes the big picture, even though we would be coming back in the prior all-time high market structure. I still believe this is one of the bigger winners over the cycle, and you know, could be a good discount for those that are looking to buy back in. So if you guys found value in this, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these updates. If you guys want to join the Discord server, see what I'm trading, see where I'm buying stuff, see what investments I'm buying, NFTs, DeFi stuff, literally anything in the market. If you guys want to be able to follow along with that, links are in the description to go ahead and do so. You guys can sign up on my website. You guys can go ahead and get lifetime access as long as I'm trading in the markets, whether it's crypto, whether it's stocks, anything at all. I'm going to be teaching it to you guys inside of the Discord server. So if you guys want to be able to see that, links are in the description. Thank you all so much for the support. And with that being said, I will catch you in the next one. As always, peace out.